There's a huge problem in the online AI space nowadays. I am the co-founder and CTO of a tech and AI studio called Seven Sigma, and because of that, I have to pay very close attention to the AI space. And what I'm seeing is that there's two camps nowadays of people talking about AI. You have on one side, you have the OG marketer business gurus talking about AI. And these people they are not really technical people. They never went into the details of understanding how technology or how AI works. And AI is obviously a very powerful technology and it impacts business. So all the former business gurus or SMMA guys or all of this have now transitioned into the AI space. And they are all telling everyone that you can sell chatbots to businesses and make so much money, or that you can build any 10 integrations and sell them to businesses, and you're going to be a trillionaire the next day. And the problem with these people talking about AI is that, again, they don't really have a technical foundation. And even from a business perspective, while you don't need to understand the ins and outs of the technology, you need to understand how it works to be able to provide proper solutions. So in this camp, what I'll call the marketer AI camp, all they're talking about is very surface level solutions. They jump on the next trends. They don't really see the big picture, and they are misleading people primarily because they don't really make money by selling AI. They make money by selling information about AI. Now, on the other end of the spectrum, we have what I'll call the OG tech guys. Those are the software guys, the tech guys, the OG machine learning engineers. And these people know very well how the technology works. They understand software principles. They understand how tech evolves, etc. But these people, they are not marketers. They don't really speak as well. They don't communicate. And even if they're good communicators themselves, they talk to the technical guys. Now, I'm partially their target audience because I'm the CTO after all of my tech studio. So I want to be aware of what the technology is. So I listen to these guys and they know very well what they're talking about. But the problem is these people are not talking to the business owners. They are not talking to the non-technical founders. They get lost in the weeds with machine learning models and programming languages and Python and these things that, while important to build the products, they're not important to the decision makers or to the business owners that ultimately pay for these solutions. And the problem that I'm seeing is that we have these two extremes, and there's a massive gap in the middle where people or someone that understands the technology deeply and can go all the way into what I call geek mode, can bring that information and convey that information to the business owners and key decision makers, but not in a way that don't understand. And for what it's worth, that's actually the gap that I'm trying to solve with this YouTube channel and the content that I put out there. I can go all the way to the technical side, but I try to avoid it, yet still make content that's grounded in reality and grounded in actual experience building proper AI integrations and proper products. And so to give you something, if you are a non-technical founder, there are three key things that when you listen to what I call the marketing gurus, you'll never hear from them. They're extremely important. And the first thing is that they don't understand how software works. The reason software engineers do things the way they do is not because they like it. It's because that has evolved in a kind of Darwinian evolution of the processes to make building good software repeatable. And those things are things like clean code, documentation, versioning of the product, etc. And you never hear the marketers talk about this. They always talk about NA10 integrations and very surface level chatbots that solve solve very shallow problems. And to be honest, if you run a small business and all you need is a simple chatbot and that solves your problem, more power to you. I think that's exactly what you should do. But if you're running a legit business and want to implement a proper AI system or like AI enabled your business, you can't rely on these surface level things. You need to think like a proper engineer because you're ultimately implementing engineering solutions. So that's thing number one. Thing number 2 and 3 is the concept of, on one side, evaluations, and on the other hand, logging and tracing. So what do they mean? And I promise if you're a business owner, this matters to you. Evaluations, that's you might hear them referred to as evals, but when you use AI and when you use LLMs, you can't just make a prompt and hope that it works and basically wing it. You want to have some sort of measurement of the quality of the outputs, even if that quality is subjective. Now, I don't want to go into the details in this video. If you want to hear more about it, let me know and I'll make in-depth content about how to evaluate LLMs. But in any production system that you build, you need to be able to have some sort of metric of the quality of the outputs. Again, this can be subjective and this doesn't need to be too complicated, but anything more than a chatbot, you certainly want this. And similarly, the other concept that I mentioned, which is logging and tracing, is when you put a system in production, you can't just afford to just put it out there and hope that it works. And if it doesn't, you ask your freelancer to go fix it. You need to be able to see what your system is doing. And this becomes even more important when you're working with AI agents. AI agents is not a single chatbot. AI agents is a decision-making machine where you have a conversation and it decides to use tools, it decides to use different agents, etc. And the final user doesn't need to see this, but you as the owner, you as the creator of these tools, and if it's your business, you are ultimately the owner, you need to know what's going on behind the scenes, and you need to be able to go evaluate and see what's happening. So, these 3 things come to mind very frequently when I hear these tutorials about using ChatGPT or Make.com or NA10 to build AI agents. No one talks about them. They always talk about a very simple agent that wouldn't fly in production. And that's a very well-known problem. If you go talk to the tech guys, they know about it, but they're not speaking to the business people. So hopefully this shines some light into what actually matters.